Richard. The next who is running for chair would be Jay-Narang.
Well, thank you, President Dykenberg, for allowing us to be here and speak to your club. And thank you to your club and your membership. The reason, or the other day I was thinking, and this is something I talked about yesterday too, if somebody were to come and ask me as to why they wanted my vote, ask me that they wanted my vote, I would have some questions for them. First be, why are they running? Number two would be, what will they do? And number three would be, why should I believe you? So I'm going to try and answer those questions for you. First and foremost, it is to bring Republican victories in this county. I'm glad to hear the victories, and I know about the victories in Coral Springs. However, there's still quite a few areas within the county where we did not have the victories that we needed. And quite frankly, our registration is fairly low. So for that, what we need to do is organize and bring structure back to GOP in the Broward County, and the conflicts and the discords that we have in the party, and grow the party by increasing registration. Now, to do that, I have come up with a plan where there's multiple steps, but there's some easy solutions which are no-cost solutions to begin with. One is putting the volunteers in the Broward REC headquarters. These volunteers would be available to collect information from the club presidents and then disseminate that information over to the rest of the county for anybody who wants to know about the ongoings within the county. Number two would be ongoing volunteer education programs. Number three would be set aside time for feedback from the grassroots. It's very important as a chairman of the party to hear from the grassroots and take pulse of what's going on, what you're doing right, what you're not doing right, and also get the new ideas. And this also helps with ending the discord. Because what happens is, the reason primarily for the discord in the party is oftentimes there's so many energized committee men and women. They have so many great ideas, but nobody gets an opportunity to implement those ideas or make sure that those ideas are heard. So if you give them the opportunity to meet with the chair of the party, you allow them to share those ideas, bring them to the forum, and try and implement those ideas. Next would be, when I took on as a club president, there were, it's kind of like you take on a job. At any new job, you get responsibilities of what you're expected to do. This does not happen with the club presidents. You are reinventing the wheel again and again and again. So what I'm proposing is, we will, in conjunction with all the club presidents and all the knowledge that's already available in the party, we'll put together a playbook for the clubs. Initiating faith-based efforts, and also strategic action teams. This I borrow from my business experience, which is strategic business units. What you do is you put together action teams, for example, candidate assistance and identification action teams. And quite frankly, after this election is over, I'm hearing so many great ideas from all the candidates, and they're fantastic ideas. And some of these people would be very valuable on that team. For example, Mayor Truitt, with your experience and what you talked about yesterday about putting together a team to help the candidates and assist them and nurture the candidates in the county, that'd be a fantastic thing. Or for example, Richard DiNapoli, talking about volunteer registration, or committee men, committee women, increasing those numbers. He would make a great part of that. Essentially, I have business experience. So what I would do as an entrepreneur and as an executive, I'd be able to facilitate teams, a management team, that'd be able to come together with people with subject matter experience in different areas and be able to bring the party forward. Gene Robinson's, sorry I missed you, your experience with the fundraising that you talk about, that's a wonderful experience. So everybody, irrespective of who wins, we will all come together. We'll work as a team, Then creating depth in the organization. So all these teams, oftentimes what happens is efforts, they fail because there's one person at the helm, and that's the only person who's handling entire load. And if that person, for some reason, is unable to perform their duties, you need to have chairs and co-chairs for all of those strategic action teams, so that these people can also, be trained at the same time by the chair, or they're equally valuable to the team. Excuse me. Another thing I was thinking about the holiday time frame, and these are some of the efforts we need to start doing as a party. I saw in the news there's organizations that go out there and spend time with these elderlies in the condos where they're just lonely, nobody comes to talk to them, nobody sees them ever, and these organizations bring them meals, they sit down, they spend time with them during the Thanksgiving time frame. That's a great thing for the party to do. We need to, under the Republican banner, go out there, and outreach efforts should include those things. Then some of the efforts that I'm going to talk about are going to cost money. So for that, what you do is you do perpetual fundraising before you go into those efforts. And by that, what I mean is not just certain days, certain dinners. You set monthly goals for the action team that's going to bring in the money. And people in that team could be finance directors from previous successful campaigns. Bring these people in, have them run those teams. They already have the experience. Sponsor events like, you know, a bowling night, competition between clubs. Make it fun. It does not have to be, you know, all that complicated. You could go out and have golf tournaments. You could go out and have fishing tournaments, things in those lines. And as a result, we'll set monthly targets for the fundraising team. And with the money that comes in, we'll invest heavily in technology. And I know everybody thinks technology is important. However, there's one more thing that we need to dig into, somebody's experience. I'm a computer engineer by trade. So I can bring in the experience of hardcore technology, not just it's important stuff, Facebook, Twitter, and all those things. However, hardcore technology meaning integrating the sites of all the different clubs, providing voter wallet access and information to the club presidents so that they're not always struggling with that. There's software available for route planning that can be available on BlackBerries, providing such information to people. Also narrowcasting, microcasting that I talked about yesterday as well, which is, you know, you don't need to bring the entire blurb of a message to every voter. There's certain things each voter is interested in talking about here and about. So you bring the specific message that is of interest to that voter and talk about that. Axiom is another form that provides data for that. So you bring in the data feeds about these voters, collect the data, and then, you know, act on that by going out there and reaching out to the electorate. Then another important thing is we go out to the electorate every time there's election time, or a few months, a few weeks before the election time. That's no way of doing business. Why dig the well every time you get thirsty? We need to bring our party to the voters starting now and bringing our party to them every so often. As a result, what you're doing is you're educating the voter about the party and letting them know we care. And so, some aspects of that, bringing the party to the voter would be, when we do the perpetual fundraising, would be going out there and running ads, like did you know ads? Did you know Dr. King was a Republican? Did you know that the first African American ever elected to Congress was a Republican? Did you know that the first woman ever elected to Congress was a woman, was a Republican? You can talk about that too.
20 seconds.
All right. What was a Republican? So essentially, what I'm now people. 20 seconds, you said. Okay.
Oh my God.
And essentially, what people have, I apologize. People have talked about, you know, well, I have this many years of experience and this many years of doing this, that, and the other. The thing is, Marco Rubio was not a known name until he came to run for Senate. Or Alan West, he was not a known name. However, these people came in, they brought in new energy, and they brought in the new momentum to the party. As a result, we all are energized. And that's what I plan to do if I'm elected your chair. So thank you for listening, and thank you for the opportunity.
Very good. Thanks, Jay.